What's really good, LeSBP Trading, familia, buenos dias, bonjour, bon dia, salvona, guten abend, konbanwa, masakea, aftab. Thank you all for tuning in. So, it's been a long time since I've actually done a trading video. Today is Friday the 30th, and we're going to do a weekly trading recap, my first video in like 8 months. So, yeah, we're just going to jump right into it. All right, Monday, and I'm just doing, red folder, high news, US. Monday, no news. Tuesday, no news. Wednesday, we have Fed funds rate, FOMC statement, FOMC press conference. Thursday, we have unemployment claims. And then Friday, which is today, core PPI month over month and PPI month over month. All right, so that is the news that we watched out for this week. I don't necessarily not trade if there's news, but that's a double negative, I know. But if other than flash manufacturing and flash services PMI, that's like the only data I really decide to just say fuck it. But other than that, I mean, most of the time I'm still trading whether it's news or no news other than that day. So looking at the trades for this week, basically on Monday, my thought process came from looking at like the 4-hour time frame, the 1-hour time frame, and stuff like that. Now, once again, that's not, if you remember my old videos, once again, that's not a confluence. It's more or less like, okay, where are areas that we think the market can go? Or in this case, we were actually looking at all-time highs. So I was like, okay, is the market going to go up to the all-time highs? Is it going to play off of it? Could it go past it? But my confluences are these HMAs that you see here. So 1, 2, and 3. And if the market or if price meets those HMAs, if it's above it, I'm buying. If it's below it, I'm selling. That's it. It has to be fully above all three or fully below all three for me to buy or sell. So on Monday, we had no trades because as you can see, it's in between the lines. This is actually a HMA, so don't think that's an error or some just red, horizontal line. That is actually an HMA. So because the market price was in between that, we didn't do anything, even though we look left. We kind of wanted it to go above that, but at the same time, there's nothing we could do because in between the HMAs, and that's my confluence. So we had some points of interest down here, and we had this support resistance area right here, but we couldn't really touch it because it was between the HMAs. As you can see, we have the all-time high. If you look left on that 4-hour time frame, you'll see that all-time high. So just looking at it here really quickly, you'll see that all-time high on the left, which was in October of 2025. And that's what we were basically looking at, when we got up to that point. But moving back towards Tuesday, we had 3 trades that we ended up taking. All 3 trades were losers. They weren't that bad, but because they met confluence, we took the trades. I had very iffy thoughts about taking these trades because the market was actually on an uptrend, but I'm taking what the market gives me. I'm taking it on my confluences because usually what I've noticed over the years of trading, if I don't take a trade that meets my confluence, I'm going to be, mad. I'm probably going to play off emotion on the next trade. And, that's, just a really big reason for me to go ahead and trade what I see using my confluences. So we took all 3 trades, all 3 were losses. And as you can see, because price was below all 3 HMAs, that's why we took a sell. The ones that's in between that specify that, hey, this could be a buy. It's only saying that because of the way that I have the settings. But if it's in between the HMAs, I'm not buying. We didn't take this particular sell. I think I was probably out and about. And then we took this sell here and we took a loss. So this was about $160, give or take, a few dollars. That was about 160 bucks that we ended up losing on this day, which was Tuesday. And then moving up to Wednesday, over Wednesday night, going into the London session is when those all-time highs were bested. But it did come right back down. So it went up to the all-time highs, and as you can see, it starts to trickle back down, bounce back off. But once again, no trades because HMA, prices in between it. So there are no trades that we could have taken at that point. Now, Wednesday night, when we ended up seeing price going below this lower HMA here, I was like, okay, maybe this can be a particular point of interest where this point left off here. So I knew that's what I wanted to do in the upcoming days if price gave us the chance. We just had to wait for the opportunity. So moving on to Thursday, as you can see, that point of interest came into play. But moving on to Thursday, we took a really decent trade. I was kind of mad at myself because I didn't let it play out, but I write this stuff as I get in and out of the trades. That way it's fresh. You know what my thought process was at that particular time. And that also shows, this for me was an emotional trade because of the simple fact I took those losses earlier. I think we took like 1 or 2 losses last week as well. So we were trying to basically get back up to the point where we already were, which was above 1,000. And I didn't log in. Let me log in so y'all can see where we're at. Don't know why I didn't log in. Sorry. All right, cool. We are logged in. All right, so that ended up being kind of an emotional trade for me because not the emotional way in a sense of like I'm only trading it because we lost, but I'm trading it thinking in my head that hopefully we can take something back. And I feel like you shouldn't think like that while you're trading because you're gonna lose regardless. Like everybody loses, but either way, we took the trade. We got into it at a really good time. Stop loss was fantastic, and as you can see, it trickled down, went through that POI, came back, retested it, and then went down again. And once we got to this point, I was up $500+, almost 600. And I was like, man, should I get out? Should I stay in? Da, 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 da. And I let my emotions kind of get the best of me because we were looking also for our next POI, which was over here. This was right before this was during the London session low on Monday. And as you can see, I didn't let it play out because we got out here. But that was $1,000. And had I let it play out to my second POI, which was my original TP, it was my original thought TP, then we would have gotten $1,000. But I try to think about it like that because of the simple fact that one, we won, so I can't be mad at the fact that we won. Two, you're not gonna get home run trades all the time and stuff like that, so you never know, when your trade is gonna be, super fantastic. You're gonna get thousands of dollars and stuff like that. You never know. So I took what I got. I'm not mad at that. I just need to make sure I tighten up on the emotion and do a little bit better with that. But Thursday was a very good day. We made $560.50, give or take a couple dollars because of fees, commissions, or whatever you want to call it. But it did play out the way I thought it was. So the way I thought it would, excuse me. So that was a really good trade. Just gotta tighten up a little bit. That's all. Moving on from there, that is Thursday. Moving on to the last day, which was today. Today was choppy, which I kind of expected because usually when you get a really huge trading day, the prior day, in most cases, I won't say all, but in most cases, either the next day is really choppy or you have this really long, huge, big range, which is still kind of choppy, but at the same time, it might come touch this top, then touch that bottom, then touch the top or touch the middle, so it's still relatively choppy, but as you can see, that range was actually pretty small on the day. So once again, couldn't take any buy positions. One, we didn't even have a way to get into it because there's a couple of different things that I wait for too, not just between the EMAs or above or below the EMAs, but there's a couple of different things I wait for, but because it was in between the EMAs, we already knew we weren't going to trade in the first place. We took our first trade right here, which one? Sorry, no, we didn't. I apologize. We didn't take this first trade right here, but that trade would have been a break even. You can actually see down here what I lost. So I lost $16.50 today. The trade that we took, and I'm going to see if I can bring this HMA down so that we can kind of close that price a little bit because it's like way out there. But what we ended up doing was we took this trade. The reason why I jumped out of this trade is because it didn't fully meet my confluences. If that previous candle is above, if that previous candle isn't below the rest of the candles, I don't know how to explain it. So basically, this candle was too big. That's all I'm gonna say. This candle was too large. The wick was too large, and it didn't meet the confluences. So I ended up getting out of this trade really quick. Only took a 5.7, maybe 6 tick stop loss, which is about $12. But because of the simple fact that it is also, they count the fees and commissions and stuff like that. So we lost $16.50 on that trade. But it wasn't bad. So I said we messed up because this was not a trade by confluence. I got out of this quickly though, once I noticed the mistake. So once I noticed that mistake, I went ahead, got out of it. I'm okay with taking, 10, 15, $20 loss in comparison to, having to take $100 loss or, $90 loss or something like that. Because I think by time it got up here, I mean, as you can see, we wouldn't have actually lost the trade completely because it would have had to touch the stop loss would have been at the top of this candle or the wick, I should say. But it still would have probably put me in such an emotional state that I would have ended up losing more once I saw this candle going up and we try to get out or something late. So it wasn't a bad, loss. It was a bad trade though because it didn't meet our confluences, and I jumped into it not paying attention to the previous candle. This is the trade that we should have taken after. I believe I had to leave though, so I didn't take this trade. Actually, no, I'm so sorry. I should have wrote it down. I didn't. I don't know why. I usually write my notes down so that I have it fresh. But we did take this trade. I apologize. We took this trade. It was going well, as you can see. I think we were up by about almost $200. Yes, yeah, because I was taking my daughter driving. And all of a sudden, as you can see, I got it. I had enough space. Once it hits a 1-to-1, I move my stop losses to break even. So it hit that 1-to-1, as you can see right here. Hit that 1-to-1 over here, probably about 19 minutes later. And after I saw it hit that, I was in the car, still driving and stuff like that. So I moved stop loss. I wasn't driving, my daughter was driving. Moved my stop loss to break even. And then, as you can see, a few minutes later, 11 minutes later, it literally ended up hitting break even. I didn't even know until we got back. And I was like, oh, damn, hit break even. But by that time, I ended up having to leave again. So I didn't get to take the last two trades, which was fine because, as you can see, this first one would have been a loss for 31.25, which would have been about 60, almost $70. Said this trade and the next we did not take. We had already stopped trading because we left the house. Yeah, I wasn't here. I wasn't in the house. So I ended up not taking these two trades, and one would have been a loser, one would have been a break even, and that would have actually ended out our week on Friday. So we didn't do horrible. Once again, excuse me. It wasn't a bad trading week. I mean, we took some W's, we took a few many L's. I tend to lose more trades than I win, which is why it's so important for me to have those bigger winning trades. I think my win percentage is somewhere around like 20%. It might be a little bit lower than that. So yeah, I have to take those bigger winners and let those winners run, which is what I usually tend to do. My idea, honestly, is to usually let it run to the end of the day. Once I'm in a winning trade, and my stop losses are to break even, I usually tend to let that trade continue to run. The only reason why I knew, or I'm not gonna say I knew, the only reason why I had an idea that this trade might not work out completely and continue to just run is because we were going through two different points of interest at that time. And the next point of interest was literally down here. So I was like, yeah, it's probably not going to go through three different points of interest. And that would have been at the bottom of this opening Sunday low. Yeah, so I was like, yeah, it's probably not going to work out that way on a Thursday when the only thing that came out Thursday was, I think, unemployment. Yeah, so unemployment claims. So it was still a good week though. Not mad at it. We'll see what we can get next week. I will be also doing a monthly recap because today is the 30th, so tomorrow is the 31st, which means that the month is going to be over. I will be doing a monthly recap possibly on Monday. I don't plan on streaming or anything like that right now. I kind of need to get back into the whole video thing and streaming thing. And right now, OBS acts a little weird too as well because I noticed that the video is slightly in front of the audio. So as you can see, my hand looks really, really slow, or you probably can't even tell, but you know, my mouth is moving, my hand is moving, but I feel like it's lagging behind. Either way, I gotta fix that shit, or you know, just keep doing what I'm doing now. I say as you can see a lot in my videos. I just realized that because I said it like 20 different times. But appreciate y'all, man. Hopefully you had a good trading week. It was great for us. I'm not mad at it at all. Next week we'll see what we can do, and we're gonna stick with the weekly recap for the most part for right now. I'm not gonna break it back down to daily recaps like I was doing before, but we'll stick with the weekly recap and the monthly recap at the end of the month, or like the first or second day of the upcoming month, which in this case will be February. So should be a monthly recap by Monday coming out. Other than that, I appreciate y'all. Thanks. Have a good day. Good weekend. Peace.